if anyone's listening now who's dating me, this is going to sound really bad. Like, we never talked about attachment styles.
I know from speaking to you, these conversations go deep. Like breadcrumbing. I have never heard that in my life.
What is your intention here?
That fucking hurt. Like, feeling is horrible.
Is that in the moment? Is that in their words, or is that in their actions?
Thank God Jess and Spud were able to jump on that FaceTime with you.
Everyone on this is going to literally be like, you are such a twat.
Don't want to pop this bubble that you're in.
Just go with your gut instinct, girls. He sent a picture of him windmilling his doodah. Well, he's definitely not some financial advisor from bloody Macclesfield. And obviously on the photo I saw dark hair. I see this grey, hoping silver fox. Well, I should have fucking listened, shouldn't I? It's out that he's not Irish at all. He puts that accent on. Shame though, she's lesbian, isn't she?
I mean,
it's literally called blocking me. Anyway, so that's why they're called blind dates, because you need to be blind.
No, I'm going to stop you.
One was like, you're too particular. But then I also put him on, are we dating the same guy? Investigate, when was the account started?
To sustain a long-term relationship is fucking hard.
Is it just someone's bitter about their ex and making it a whole complete lie?
Yeah. And when we found out and he came in, and I was like, looked at your face, I was like, what the fuck is this?
They say a lot of it is anxiety. The spark. You kind of got to feel like you want to rip their clothes off. They've got Claire's laws against them. I'm trying to call Dan, like, you need to save me, like, come and get the car now. It's like an addiction. Like, she was posing in the mirror in a bathroom. I recommend you pick up the phone, lad.
Hello and welcome to a very different episode of Becoming Lucy with me, Hannah.
And me, Lucy. So today we're going to cover modern dating. So it's a funny one, isn't it? Because 1 minute you think you're building something with somebody, and then the next you realise you might have not been the only one in the story. So tonight we are talking about it. We're going to talk about the apps, the mixed signals, the what are we, and the moments that make you question your own intuition. I'm saying that with pride.
Yes, do it. And actually, we've landed at this because we did have a guest lined up, but they've gone a little bit, well, I suppose, modern day dating on us, really, haven't they?
Yeah.
Freaking ghosted us.
Ghost, miscommunication, don't know where we stand. So we thought, what a better time to talk about it, because if you've ever been on a dating app, especially in your 30s and your 40s, you've been ghosted, you've been breadcrumbed, or you're just left thinking, what's going on? This is going to be the one for you.
And also, if you haven't been in those situations, it's going to be really interesting to hear that side of things, you know, which we'll get into later on in the episode, sort of, you know, old dating versus modern day dating. But I think that's the thing, isn't it? You know, everyone has got a story when it comes to dating now, and it's sort of plastered everywhere. But we don't actually always talk about what's actually going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, and here we are, baby, today. So it's not about calling anybody out. We'll try not to. And it's about calling their behaviour. And maybe mine too. Who knows?
Yes, so let's get cracking with our very different episode about modern day dating. And let's start with where it all began, with the apps.
With the apps. So yes, I am back on the apps. I think we spoke about on the episode that I was going off the apps. I've been back on the apps. We had that little, in the wedding episode, applicants, we didn't get any.
We really tried hard, even though I couldn't quite articulate what I wanted for you in a man. We did try hard. And I think that's the thing with the apps. They are like addictive, right? Because you just said it yourself, you're on them, you're off them, and you want to try like organic dating, but then no one organic dates anymore. Like, you know, for me personally, if I was to be single now, and me and Rob have talked about this, that we would both be terrible. Maybe that's why we're staying together, who knows? But we would both be terrible at modern day dating, because I'd want to go to a bar and I'd want to meet someone organically.
And you just meet 20-year-olds. That's all you meet, Hannah. Like, literally, like, but then you don't, again, it's not like when you're young, like you're going out in the same town, like Congleton is a small town, but there's lots of other people that have come into it with the new houses. You don't know who's single, you don't know who's taken. Do you embarrass yourself? Like, can I take your number kind of thing? Like, is that a compliment? Is that not? Like, again, going in these, and the world's such a bigger place now. Like, I was saying this earlier to a friend, like, how things have divided for like over the years. Like our parents, like my parents, for example, my dad's from one town, my mum's from another. It's very close. My mum would never like travel. Like, I'm talking to someone like 20 odd miles away.
Yeah.
She would have never even travelled there to even socialise, never mind me.
Right.
And then you've got them on the other side of the phone. And then like everyone married younger. Everyone kind of had those jobs like you're in the mill or the factory up north. You kind of knew you were going into that before you knew what school you were going into. It's just like this is this and this. And then someone brought up as well like pubs, like women go to pubs, but then women have better jobs now. You're more broader. Is it like the fact of, if it is organically, the temptations there you're meeting, then you always think the one next is better because you've always got these apps and you're swiping.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, that's the world in general,
general.
isn't it? The world in general is overstimulating. So you've got so much choice for everything. So I can only imagine that it's an absolute whirlwind out there. And I think going back
like,
to
I could literally go on now and like I say, it's like a buffet. And you, yes,
a buffet.
No. A buffet.
The way you said it, so posh. I've never heard you so posh.
Maybe because I'm getting my dating app voice on. Hello. How are you?
What voices are there? I know there used to be phone line voices.
Well, I think that's probably what it is, isn't it? Like you try and put your phone voice again, like Mrs. Bouquet for my buffet.
But you know, like going back to obviously what you were saying about like your parents and how it was sort of back in the day. I think in one way, I'm glad that it's evolved because, you know, we don't want to be in that situation where you're kind of pigeonholed into a certain career and there's only sort of a certain radius that you'll meet someone and, you know, you kind of get married young and this, that and the other, because that, again, for me and you and for a lot of people, we don't want that. We want it to live, travel. Look what we did as a job, and that's important. So I'm glad that that has moved on. However, I genuinely, like I've said, I couldn't imagine dating in this modern world. And you know me, it takes me 3 to 5 business days to reply to a message
blocked.
from you.
Like you would literally like I've got better at trying to hold my ground and not like think they need to mess. Like I used to kick off if people didn't text me back in a couple of hours. Like not like if it was a working day, it's different. But like everybody is on their phone. I don't give a shit. Like if someone's not prioritizing you, is like you then start thinking not like 2 hours, but in the day. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's that going to show up later on? Do you know what I mean? If you're generally supposed to be interested, if you're generally out there to date with intention, you don't leave it days and days, because to me that's like you're not interested, are you really?
Yeah, and I think you do make a good point. However, on the other side of things, that would send me insane. I wouldn't want to be expected to respond within a certain amount of time to show if I'm interested or not. I will.
Well, imagine that with 3 or 4 people as well, because that's the average number, and it is like a full time. If you're, I'm not like that anymore. Like I try and just concentrate on one, which then I think if you concentrate on one, you can put them on a pedestal because they're all the glory. Do you know what I mean? You don't really see these red flags. Where if you talk to different people, then you will compare naturally. But as they always say, give a woman 10 men, she'll choose. Give a man 10.
A man 10,
women. God, I never say that.
Yeah.
He will play. Do you know what I mean? And that's women naturally will put 1, 2nd, 3rd, okay, and then they might move like, oh, his values are better. You'll always have a favourite. Always have a favourite. It's like,
and I think that's what's so like crazy about it, like just the keeping up with the constant like admin of it, like you said, like a second job almost. And obviously like the apps are good, of course, and what would you say is one of the better things about having an app, even though they sound crazy and chaotic?
I think one, hopefully you know they're single. Not always the case, but hopefully you would know that you like to think that they were single. That's probably about it.
And that there's choice, right? Because
you've got to like a variety. But you know what I mean? You have like, yeah, you like to see that there's people you wouldn't see day to day. You're not going to always see someone in Tesco or someone in the gym or someone at work. You've got someone that you might not maybe bump into that you might have, hopefully, things in common with. So, I mean, we've got friends. Jessie, she met on her husband now on the apps.
Loads of success stories. Absolutely
loads. I've got like my friend Kate and there's Kaylee. Like, there's loads.
And
it's not me.
It's not yet.
Yeah.
And obviously that is a couple of pros then. It's the variety of apps that you can go on, and obviously it's the chance of meeting someone that you would ordinarily back in the day without technology meet at the pub or somewhere like that. Basically it's lifting them onto an app, and it's the same kind of thing. It's just obviously virtually rather than originally meeting them at a pub and getting a drink and standing next to someone. Because for me, I'm 15 years in, so I know it has changed massively, which is super scary. So I'm obviously learning from my single friends about, I live vicariously for you in that way, but horrendously I do not want to be in this position because I know how tough it is, and by vicariously I will add just like learning about it and being interested that way. But obviously, like for me, when I used to date, it was that excitement of like being in a pub and like almost like that brushing up next to someone, like looking at them and being like, oh, they're quite a fit. And then you just start chatting, and then you're just like, I'm just getting a drink. Then you go over to your mates, and then you kind of like see them, and then you might go to the next pub, and that's how you'd meet someone. Or, I used to work in bars. That was a great way of meeting people.
But I think that's still more exciting when you think back to those millennial times, as we always do. Like, I saw a reel on it the other day. It's like, it's like, Mum, what were you back in the 90s? It's like, Mum, what was dating back in the 90s? And she's there like having a fag in the beer garden. And then it was like, oh, excuse me. Oh, hi. And it's like, what did you say? What did you say? Like,
that like instant connection was like amazing. And also I feel like then you'd get to know like each other's mates really quickly because you'd be out, right, drinking or partying mainly, and then
but that's also you'll know more about them because you're out with them, kind of thing. Because that's a thing on the apps, which we'll definitely go into later. Like, people go, oh, I don't want to date in the same town, I'm putting my radius out because everyone in my town shit, they've always got negative whatever, but you don't know frigging anything about these people. Like, and this is what we'll go in with, like the catfish and stories I've had when you're finding out information. Like, you do not, where you kind of have that safety years ago of like, it's like, we laugh in work, there's a lady, she'll go, like, if someone new starts, she's like, who's your mum? Oh, is he your auntie? Do you know what I mean? And you can connect the dots where you cannot. Do you know what I mean?
No.
So
it's like, it's so far and so broad that it is terrifying. And, and I think it is mad because I suppose it's good because I'm going right back there, and the millennial dating as well. And obviously you're like right in the current form. But like, I feel like that gave you more butterflies when you met someone face to face. And because you're so, in the dating apps, you're back in them. Would you prefer it to be like that, or are you happy with the apps? Like, do you like that kind of constant, like, quick wins and quick butterfly that you're going to get when someone pops a message up? Because that also feels good when you start texting someone and they reply. Like, what would you prefer? Like,
that's when you learn so much more now. Like, we never talked about attachment styles when we were millennials. We didn't talk about like insecurities, and they say you shouldn't really text that much because it's just dopamine hits. That's all you're getting. It's not actually proper communication until you meet somebody, but then you meet them and then, oh, their texting slowed down. What's this mean? And you start to question yourself.
You are prime for that. Like, if someone, like you've said before, someone doesn't reply to you in a couple of hours, and that we're the complete opposite. And I know I can say that because I'm not in this world, and maybe if I was in this world I'd be the same, and I'd grow to like, why haven't they responded? I can only speak for me right now, that would be the complete turn off for me if someone was kind of wanting a fast response. But I understand why you also want that and why you want that prioritization, because it would show up surely in the later relationship. But that's exactly it. It's that dopamine hit that you want quickly, whereas if you build it slowly and you meet someone and you meet them face to face and you share those messages after, it like elongates that dopamine, surely. if you're meeting someone face to face and you're getting to know them, then you go home and you used to share those texts and work out when you're going to meet each other next. And you sometimes would wait days, because obviously back in the
Oh
day, you
yeah,
didn't have
you
all
have to
these.
wait for like a house phone call, but then also you mostly like you met Rob, you know you see him every day at work. You know you definitely kind of bump into him, and like I'm going back to dating when, like you said, when in my 20s. You still see that person next weekend. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
You wouldn't
yeah,
hang up onto it. But I think this is also where people probably struggle a lot now, because people don't go out as much. There's all these reels on
yeah.
Instagram. There's all this advice, and it's all about text, 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 and pull back here, like make sure you're not talking to her. And then another thing, we're like, well, are you secure sending that? How do you feel? Like, I'm like, oh, stop giving me this grounded bollocks. I'm going to say and this is where we'll go into later. But like I say, there's a whole different dictionary now.
Yeah, but on that note, just like before we move on, because it's funny, because that playing hard to get has always existed. It
Oh
existed
yeah,
in the playground, when you would like
but it was
fancy a boy.
easier to play hard to get then. Where now I can go on my phone and I can see when they were last online. If you really want to, you can see where they've been on Instagram, where their stories are. Do you know what I mean? You have more control, which I think is a bad thing,
Yeah,
because you know where people are. And people play games with it also. But then you pull back, but then you can see, oh, well, they're out. They're
yeah.
responding
Well,
to them. Why are they not
yeah,
responding to me?
you're losing that again, that excited feeling of being
Mm,
like, I don't know when I'm going to hear from them again, but I know I will, or I hope I do. And then again, it's that hit where they message or you arrange another date. And I think, like you said, because of the essentially like the digital world that you can timestamp them and locate
yeah.
them, it takes away that. And I think it just
And it's
makes you
also
more
that
wound up.
dopamine, because then you're like, well, that conversation's got a bit dry. Where if you're in the real world, you might just ask another question because you're talking naturally in a bar, or you
Yeah,
see them again and get to know them slowly. Where it's like,
yeah,
oh, you know what? I'll just go on the app, swipe. I'll talk to this person now.
yeah.
So you
It's
like it's easily replaceable. That's the
yeah,
issue.
yeah,
It's, oh, there's
100%.
something better out there. There's something
Yeah,
better out there. Like
it's
everyone's
like
got to match someone perfectly. You kind of got like the romancers. You've got the people whose expectation. Like I was laughing with my friend today. She's like, I will never go out with anyone who says lol. And this lad messaged her today and she really fancied him. I said, I don't piss myself. I said, give me his Facebook or whatever now. I said, I want to message him to make sure he doesn't say lol. She rang me at 4 o'clock today. He said lol twice, but he's really fit, so I'm all right.
Well, I
You know what I
love
mean?
that.
But
She's
that
broken through the barrier and thought, no,
yeah.
I will accept lol
But
this
you
time
have like
round.
insecurities, mate. Not insecurities, or say another partner's done this or that, and you just like, well, if they do that, that's it. There's no
Yeah,
reasoning. Like,
yeah.
do you
But
know what I
it's like
mean?
childlike behavior. It is. It's like again, your attention span is so short nowadays, and it's the same with dating. If someone doesn't hook you in straight away, or vice versa, like you said, you're replaceable like that, and then
Yeah.
that's going to be awful to someone's self-esteem
Hmm.
when you really think you've got something going, and even though it might be sort of a short couple of weeks thing, but I know from speaking to you, these conversations go deep.
Hmm.
Like, they're not like surface level, and that's what scares me as well, because I'm quite a closed book. I'm definitely open. I'm more open over the years, but I'm quite a closed book, so there is no way I could imagine myself having conversations that you do. However, I understand why you do, because at and I'm not going to say your age, with the same age, but like as you get a little bit later in life, you want to know, am I fucking wasting my time or not?
Hmm.
So I understand why you also need to go deep. It's just scary how you're giving so much of yourself to strangers, time and time and time again, in the hope that something will stick,
Yeah.
and that
And then
must
you
be
repeat that
just.
again with the next person,
Yeah,
and it just gets like boring then, and it's
yeah,
just it's
yeah,
a long drawn out
process.
process. But
Yeah.
yes, as we come back though, for our other listeners that might not have been in the dating scene for many years, Angela Hodgkinson, we shall explain what comes with the dating dictionary if we
Yeah.
obviously use any of these words going forward. So,
Well, I also need to know, because obviously I know some of them. I know ghosting, but there is one that we were chatting about called breadcrumbing. I have never heard that in my life.
really? So
Yeah,
there's
what the
so
hell's
many. I didn't even
breadcrumbing?
put all of them on. I just literally threw. So obviously, ghosting for people who don't know is mean literally when you get ghosted, they literally disappear and you never hear from them again. And you just don't know where they've gone. There's breadcrumbing. So it's basically
Yeah.
it's. I said it's like crumbs, not the full loaf. Like
Yeah.
Hansel and Gretel, like you can have a really good connection, and then they keep you on the back burner, so they don't completely ghost you, but it might be every couple of days, or then it turns into every couple of weeks. So they're keeping you on the back burner by just passing
Right.
little breadcrumbs to just keep you a little bit
Okay.
interested. Like, oh, here you go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, here you are. You're back. Oh, I'm all right. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go now for like whatever
Yeah.
weeks or days, or and then
Yeah.
here we go. Oh, get you interested. Oh yeah, got you excited. Oh, bye, bye.
Yeah. Yeah. So every time you are ready to go, no, I'm done, they offer you more, like dangling a carrot.
Yeah, basically, and then take it away, and then dangle it again, and then that's how they just keep you interested. Because like it's like they don't really want to commit to you, or they don't, but they don't want to lose you either. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So they just
Yeah.
keep you on the
Yeah.
back burner.
Well, it's a
Um,
game, like you said. They're just playing a game, and also that's like a power trip because
mm,
every time you come back, they're like, "Brilliant, got them underneath, like
mm.
under my power, so to speak,"
I
which
had one.
is also
He's
a
been
bit
going on for
scary.
about over a year, and he got in contact a few months ago. I was like, "What is your intention here?" And then she just threw it out. He went, "I'm just seeing if you're all right." I went, "Why do you just
Mm.
keep coming back every few like every few months?" And I
And do you
think
think
people also
that's
use the excuse of my
because?
leg. I'm like, are you using the
Yeah,
excuse of? Do you actually genuinely care, or you
yeah.
just breadcrumbing me?
But do you think that's because like they've dried up a little bit and they're just trying to reach out to who they were in contact with,
I
which is
think again,
also
it's
just
probably that
not.
dopamine here because I generally feel like this bloke, like he is busy, he travels a lot, and da da da. Maybe to him it is like checking in, but I'm like, this is like hot and cold behaviour. Like we're not friends. Like
Yeah,
do you have to know how I am?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's just your
Oh, you're
excuse to
right.
come back in. Like
Yeah.
so
Right. What
yeah.
else we got then?
Zombie, I forgot to put that one in. It just came off ghosting. Have you heard of that one?
Of
Zombieing.
ghosting.
Yeah, so
Oh,
basically, a
zombie.
zombie is when a ghost happens and then they come back from the dead.
Oh, so like, okay, they resurrect themselves.
Yeah. So,
Mm.
like, you begin, like, mid conversation and they go, and then, like, 3 months later, like, hi, how are you? Or, you know, whatever. Oh, that was rude. Sorry, me. I never saw your message. Bollocks.
Oh, yeah, that would
Like,
wind me up. That would wind me
yeah.
up.
Yeah, I've had a
Then
few
we've
of
obviously
them.
got love bombing. I've heard of this. Is this when someone just like chucks a load of like lovely words and affirmations
Yeah,
towards
it can be
you?
hard, this one, because people can throw it very loosely, I think. I look back and think, have I love bombed before? Because I think
Mm.
I've gone generally excited and, do you know what I mean, and said
Yeah,
things. And maybe my attachment style at that time in my life where I realised I was quite an anxious attachment style. I was like trying to put a label on things. I just wanted that reassurance and do you know what I mean? But yeah, it's a bit like they'll basically come in like, I really, really like you. I want to see you again. Da, da, da. Like, you're the best thing ever. Like, you're so special. Da, well, anything. And then it's just like, that phase. So they say it's a lot to do like narcissism because they hook you
yeah,
in and then they'll go hot and cold and they'll love bomb you again. So you attach to that like, well, they must really like me because they said all these nice
yeah,
things. But it's like, is that in the moment? Is that in their words or is that in their actions? So this is where
yeah,
you're gonna kind of work it out, and they can do it in their actions. They can buy you lovely gifts and da
yeah,
da da.
yeah.
So
And again, it's like it's quite hard, I'd say, as well, for someone that's genuinely wanting to be nice to someone, and
mm,
then someone has already got their wall up because of all these words and phrases that
yeah,
are, doing the rounds. And I get that people need to protect themselves, and I think it's better that people can be extra aware. But then for someone that's, just trying to be nice, that must be so frustrating as
yeah, because you get a
well.
lot of blokes now. I see it now and again online. Like, what do I do? Do I buy her flowers? But then some girls say that's like gives me the ick or whatever. Like they're trying too hard, or like that could be love bombing. Where you think many years ago that was just a natural thing to turn
Yeah,
up with
nice
a
thing to
gift.
do.
Someone brought me flowers. Heads, anyone listening, I'm all for it. Like,
See,
do you
I'm
know what I
more into
mean?
flowers now than I used to be. So when
Yeah,
me and Rob first got together, like
I think it's just a
I
gesture.
well, I never, I think I was never really a romantic type. So that kind
Mm,
of stuff, like, we didn't use the word ick back then, but I
mm,
suppose if I was going to describe it, it would give me the ick if someone was too romantic. And
yeah,
I think that, like, that's just my style. I've just never really liked romance. And if someone gets a bit too attached or they do maybe say a bit too much or do a bit much, that actually puts me off. And that happened in, like, relationships I've had before. So when me and Rob got together, I was not into that, and obviously neither really was Rob. We did other things that we showed our commitment. We got tattoos, and obviously other things we did together, which obviously grew our relationship. But I was never into flowers. Anyway, I've evolved obviously over the years, so has Rob, and obviously we've got different likes and whatnot now, and that's one thing I'm really proud of us for, that we are still together.
Well, I think that comes with age. Like you said, you're a bit crier now. You're a bit more emotional. Like you want to and like you said on the wedding episode, you've evolved your relationship. Hence why you stay together. You are different people and evolve with it.
Yeah, but I think what the thing is like now I am definitely more romantic, I would say. Like, so Rob does buy me flowers and stuff now, and that doesn't give me the ick. I love it, and it was weird. That's only been in the last like few years, maybe 5-6 years or so. But the funny thing is that obviously like we've kind of had to relearn that together, because obviously for 10 years he knew getting me flowers would give me the ick. So then obviously all of a sudden I'm like, well, I like that now, and how is he meant to know that? Do you know what I mean? So the romance side of things I've grown into more, like I've evolved more into, whereas like way back in the day that would have completely put me off. And we're going to do a bit of a ick section later, but that would have been mine if someone asked me when I was like 20-21 years old. Do you know what I mean? But let's move away from the language then, and let's move into kind of maybe some real
We've got a few more
stories.
Let me just go
right, do a few
quickly
more then, and I want to know about real life stuff.
Okay, orbiting is when someone just watches stories, but they don't speak to you.
Yeah.
So they're just like watching you.
Friends do that though. Friends do that.
Yeah, but that's fine because you're on social media. But if you're supposed to be talking to somebody, and then you got kitten fishing, which is like catfishing. If people don't know what catfishing is when it's a completely different person. But kitten fishing is when they look different. So it's like a picture they were put on from like 10 years ago, and then they turn up and they're grey and fat, for example.
Well, surely,
do you know what I mean?
So that
no
catfishing
hair.
is when they're different personality type as well. Kitten fishing is just the look.
Catfishing is a completely different person. So I put a picture of you on my dating app and I turn up.
Oh yeah, that's it. The MTV show. I used to watch that, to be fair.
And then kitten fishing is me putting a picture on maybe in my repping days.
Yeah.
And then turning up as I look now. Which is probably actually you want them the other way around. So moving on to.
Well, I want to know, because there's some things that have been happening obviously in your love life, shall we say, that I think it would be good to put some of these things we've spoken about already, into reality, really. And obviously, we are going to be careful about what we say. But yes, tell us more.
So, I was dating this lad. I got myself. Everyone on this is going to literally be like, you are such a twat. So, I seen him on a dating app and we matched. And one of the first things he said, he didn't really want anything serious. And I was like, not my vibe. I've literally highlighted that. But he just seemed really nice. And I thought, you know what? Let's just go with it. Let's just live in the moment and go with it. So, we got on really well. We were chatting on the phone. Obviously, we met up a couple of times. There were, conversations like, oh, my mates are literally going to kill me. Like, I'm getting too deep here. I really like you. We've obviously got, really good chemistry. The connection's great. He wanted to invite me to go and see his friends.
His gym as well. That was a big thing,
to the gym. Like I said, this was literally, again, anyone can say this was love bombing because this was all happening a week. We were talking and on the phone, and then we met up twice in just the space of literally of 2 weeks. And then the communication started to drop, and I just let him be. I was like, right, you do your thing, because he was going away for this event. And then we were chatting. He was, personal life going on. And then he dropped a message on me about doing it was business basically. And someone was coming to stay with him for the weekend. And was I okay with it? And I was like, you know what? This is a big opportunity for you. Go for it. Well, really, I should have just gone, where is this person staying? That was it. I'm going off grid. Well, you're really fucking going off grid beforehand because you were going a little bit slow, with your communication. So I should have just said, I should have just let it out. like my gut instinct. But again, you go, oh, you should pull back, that make them more interested and hear all this bollocks. Where if I just highlighted it and said how I feel, I did say I would feel a bit jealous if you're spending this time with this other woman all weekend, but I had no reassurance compared to like other scenarios when we spoke in the past. Like, you got nothing to worry about. So this is where it raised my red flags, where I should have just hit it. And I can remember sending this message to one of my friends, and she was like, well, I'm not one to give you advice, because last time this happened to me, he was living a double life. Well, I should have fucking listened, shouldn't I? We had Spud around as well, doing the tarot cards on Friday night, trying to break down what the fuck. I just communicated. Yeah, and everything was, I was like, all right, no, I trust him. I've got nothing to really go into. But obviously, naturally, the girl that I am did a little bit of investigating. I found out who this business partner was before it even came apparent on Instagram stories as it came over the weekend, which I was quite proud of myself. I was like, okay, no, it's fine. Got nothing to be jealous of. Like, he didn't really have to tell me. It's literally a few weeks in. That's fine. And then something got me, and I was like, I'm just going to look on the stories. Well, it's the comments, and then it was like quite flirty, love hearts back and forth. I was like, this is out of line. And then there was a one comment where she, how much detail can we go? She was posing in the mirror in a bathroom, and it was, you know whose bathroom this is, and him obviously reacting, and then someone actually trolling underneath, and they confirmed that her body did look like that because they were with it all weekend. And then I went on to the story, and she was referring to him as her boyfriend. And that's how I found out. And yeah, so I automatically rang this person. They didn't pick up. I sent them a message saying, I recommend you pick up the phone, lad. I went straight into ladette. Like, here she is. You've got 10 minutes. That was it. Literally, that's what I sent. So I got a quick phone call as this person's at work. And I was like, hi, you all right? He's like, yeah, you. Well, it's more like me. It was like, yeah, you. How was your weekend? He was like, oh, yeah, it's really good. And I think he could tell, but he's like, oh, I've got something to tell you. I've decided to like pursue something with somebody else. Like, yeah, I know. I've just seen
Instagram told me first.
Yeah, Instagram told me. Like, when the fuck were you thinking of telling me? So some people can probably say I'm overreacting because it was casual. We agreed. But obviously when you're talking about, like, I even told my mum. He told me to tell me. Like, when we were with each other, like, I'll tell you with me. I'm looking after you. It's like, but we live and learn. We live and learn. So it's all those little things that I let my guard down with, and I shouldn't have fell. And if I kept my boundaries up in the first place, I would never have got there. But it's just the way he was. He was lovely. Seemed to be very affectionate, things that I like. So yeah, I will not lie. I got a bit smitten, didn't I? Do you know what I mean? I spoke to you about him.
And I think that's like what I'll say. I think obviously, it was a very brief overview of it, and from when we were chatting and you were showing me and obviously Vic as well, we were like, oh my god, he looks kind, like he actually looks okay. This sounds like it's going to be okay. And obviously, like I was, it's hard as a friend because you want to be as honest as you can be, but you also don't want to dull your shine and dull that excitement. So you've got to find the balance of like, don't worry if he's not responded. Like, just get yourself distracted, go and do something, go back to it a day later. To, I'm sure obviously everything's fine. To also, you've only known him for literally a couple of weeks. Like, it isn't anything serious. So you've got not too much of a right to, pin him down and ask him where he's at and this, that, and the other. So it's that balance. And as a friend, to kind of try and deliver that in like a nice but firm way is also difficult. But I don't think you should beat yourself up about getting smitten, because he was showing all the positive signs. And for me, I mentioned the gym thing earlier because he was like, I'll take you to my gym where all my friends are. Like, who the fuck says that if you're already seeing someone behind the scenes that you're going to make your girlfriend? Do you know what I mean? So that's bullshit. And also, like, as well as that, it's like he was saying things about the chemistry and other things he was messaging you that he was telling his friends, like, I think this is a good one. Like, I didn't want anything serious, but like, and he's telling you that. So, of course, you are going to be blindsided by that. And he's pulling the wool over your eyes. And he's, again, trying to get that quick power trip of being like, I'm going to make this girl feel like I'm all in when actually I'm not. I'm shagging someone else behind the scenes. I'm basically going to make them my girlfriend, but for the next couple of weeks I'll just make this bird feel like she's special. Like, and he might not have thought that at all. There might not be any malice in it. It might be all
well, they only met
simultaneous
her
time
after, like I say, this event, and then she came up then the weekend after. So he met actually me first. He'd just been speaking to her for like 6-7 months.
So then he did meet her first then, really, didn't he? Virtually.
And this is something I spoke about. It's like, yeah, and I get it, right? You can get a connection. But I was like, I was quite calm as I'm talking now. I was like, you know that most of these relationships that start with a lot of texting are either started in prison or when these people from like Egypt or Asia or wherever start harassing these old women for money. Like, it's not true connection. Well, I've said it. I've said it. Yeah, fair enough. They met and then it all got a connection. But I'm like, whatever. Like, we'll see. Because he used the excuse because this person lives, let's say, 4 hours away. I live half an hour away. He thinks it'll be easier to have a long distance relationship. I was like, easier? Like, yeah, because he's like, you need more time. Like, and like, we're both in like the same kind of industry. We understand each other. And this is probably where the connection's stronger. And I was like, so you're going to juggle your job, the gym, your passion, your children, your old family life, which you're still involved with, kind of thing, and travel up and down the country.
And I think, and I think that's the thing. It's like, you want the honesty, and he was given the honesty about the connection.
He did.
You can't take that away, but it's all the things behind the scenes. It's all the sort of, and again, this is what's so difficult because there's no harm in having multiple conversations. Like we said, obviously you fell and you've learned your lesson a million times over, but you still shouldn't be in this position where you've met someone who has given you all the communications that sound very green flag, and then it like dies off, and then literally within a couple of days it's like, oh no, I've got a girlfriend, you're no longer on the scene. It's a head fuck. So
the biggest head fuck is seeing it online.
Yeah, and that as well. Like, and then
that's the biggest, like, whoa.
Yeah, not getting to you first, not being like, by the way, and again, it's so difficult because
she knew about me.
Yeah.
And he told me that, and then obviously I messaged, being a girl as I am, and I was just like, out of respect, I think you should know. Apparently you already know about me. I obviously didn't go into detail, but I was like, I just need to know if she does know about me. I don't care what you said. Like, obviously it's not going to be, you're not going to say everything, are you? And she's like, yeah, I know, and like, thanks for like being so respectful. Well, the ball's in their court now. You know what? Go for it, because
And I think to, like, let's be honest, because you could come across as bitter right now by being like, it's not going to last. It doesn't last. And you've every right to have that like bitter pill in you right now. Absolutely. And this could last to the end of time. Who knows? You know, and that connection could be solid. But there are ways around letting someone down. I think that's the issue, isn't it? It's the fact that you found out via social media rather than him coming to you saying, the person that is staying over, we are messaging, there could be something in it. But because everything's behind a screen, it was easier for them just to kind of put it in a box, do what they did, and then to not even then say, hi, the person I had round, actually it's developed into something.
I thought I made it a bit obvious. I was like, look at your message, you made it look like a business trip, and you asked if I was actually okay with it.
But also, like, there should be no miscommunication there. It should be black or white. Like, and I think that's again the hard thing when technically you're all single. So really, this person could be like, fuck you, I don't have to do anything. And then we've got every right to say, yeah, you're right, you don't have to do anything. But someone's morals and the way they do things says a lot about them, So the fact that obviously this started so strong and then it's turned into this, it's like, you do you, hun. Like, go and meet someone, do whatever you want behind the scenes, because that is the modern dating world, as we know. A million apps. You've said yourself, you're speaking to 3 or 4 different people. You're not innocent. Of course, you've had multiple dates before.
I'm speaking
But
to one now,
you,
just to clarify. If they're
just to
listening.
clarify,
No, but I am. It's not actually a lie.
but if you were, and when you have, if if you were telling someone all the things you were being told, and then suddenly you met someone else and that was stronger, I know you as a person would go, really sorry about this. I'm going to have to let you down because of X, Y, and Z. And even if there was a couple of, like, I don't know, white lies in there, that's fine. But you wouldn't be going on Instagram and sharing everything, and then, you know, thinking that that person's not going to see it. And
I'm
it is
such a
that
people
what
pleaser.
that's
I have
what's
to
wrong.
just emoji back or just send a haha or something because I
Yeah.
can't leave people on red. Back in when it happened, I left him on red when I was like, "What time are you finishing on work?" I was like, "I'm going to take satisfaction in this." I read it and go, "Okay, that's when I'll wait
Well,
my call."
I think that for sure this is a really shitty situation, and obviously I'm genuinely really sorry that obviously it's not
Oh, it's
worked
do you know what
out.
I mean?
I think
At
what's
least I
difficult
know.
now,
But this is again
you
with
know
modern
now.
day dating. Like I was talking to my mum about it today. She goes, "Has it changed slightly?" Which we have gone into why it has. But also, you can find out so much because
Yeah.
if that was back in 1970 when my mum was getting married, there was no internet. People were just doing
Yeah.
this behind the scenes and getting away with it. If it wasn't for that, I would have believed it was a business trip, wasn't I?
Yeah.
And there's
And yeah
nothing to
and no,
worry
and
about.
that's where
Yeah.
affairs then obviously start. And then when
Yeah.
you are married and you've got, children involved, it's worse. And
Oh,
now
yeah.
within the space of a month, you found out that's not the person for you. So that is a massive tick in the
Yeah.
modern day dating
Yeah.
world. However, what's not good is the confidence knocks. It's the self-esteem, because you now have got massive walls up again. You're going to be, anyone you speak to now and get any kind of connection with, you're going to be dubious about, you're going to be worried about, you're going to think everything's a love bomb, as we've just referred to. Like, you're not going to trust. And that's what's heartbreaking, because this person has now moved on with their girlfriend, and you are just here being like, what the fuck has just happened? I have gone from like the highest high to the lowest low. And it is like an emotional roller coaster, those dopamine hits, like we said, and the fire in your belly, the butterflies in your belly when you're chatting to someone new and you're like
Yeah.
meeting them for dates. And in a long-term relationship, the relationships evolve, like we've spoken about. You get a different connection, the dynamics different, those butterflies, whilst and not and never gone away, they are less, and they're at different stages. Like, the wedding, for example, my god, those butterflies were big, they were strong. But when you're starting to date and you're in that early stage, that is what is the most exciting part of it. However, when it's so quick and you're there, like, as in like up and then down, it, like, god, your head must just be in a mess.
Yeah. Like I was saying, I think a lot, like when you mentally struggle, I think mentally it's harder, I will put this out here, dating than it is actually dealing with my leg, because I have some control about what's happening with my leg. I can see what's happening where you can't see what other people are thinking. You can't see what you're being told is truth, and I think that affects me more. I mean, I was lucky. We had a good conversation and like closed the door on it just because I wanted a few answers, and I think that actually generally helped me. I think it's harder when this happens to women, when they don't get answers and they just get ghosted, and then it's just all over. Like, I've now unfollowed that person and stuff, just let them go on with their life, but it's there if you want to see it. You can automatically click, where I think that's a trigger almost, because you can see, if you really want to, what everybody's up to and get it thrown in your face, or it can probably come up if you're in the same friendship groups, or you know what I mean. So I think that's probably hard with the internet. But I think one lesson to take from this is just go with your gut instinct, girls. Like, if you need to call anything out, like, I know the advice, like, so hard, like, pull back, keeps them more interested. But no, communication, like, this feels off with me. Like, I even said to him earlier in the week, like, your energy, and it's like, no, there's other things. And genuinely, there was probably other things going on, but call it out. And I wish I probably called it out a lot more then. And I think you don't want to do it because you don't want to ruin that moment. You're like, if I say this, I'll get offended, or I'm too needy. You hear all
And you
these
don't
things
want
all
to
the
pop
time.
the bubble. You don't want
No.
to pop this bubble that you're in, because why does anyone want to stop feeling the way you're feeling, which is that nice, like, bubbly feeling, and like I said, the butterflies, you don't want to stop that.
Yeah,
In
but
the
then you
same
end
breath,
up
you've got to protect
overgiving
yourself.
because
Yeah,
you're being too nice. And that's why I said I was obviously damn right too fucking nice and understanding and excited for you, where I should have gone, hang on, there's something not right here. And like there was no reassurance, why we're not doing this, but then someone can go like, why should you do that when you've only been seeing him a couple of weeks? So there's that fine line. But I think if your gut is off, just go with it, because how many times do you hear it? And
I think on that note though, like, at the end of the day, like, you go back to the prioritization side of it, if it is legit and if it's real, then they will reassure you regardless of the amount of time.
because I
And
had
obviously,
reassurance before that, like after our
especially when you had
second
it
date.
before.
Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly.
It's like
It's
to
not
say, you got
consistent.
nothing to worry about. Like, I really want to see you again. That's when it's kind
Yeah,
of moving out the casual line. Like, do you know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
So I shouldn't have hoped on that.
Well, but I was just going to say, when you were saying about the what was it about the getting it put in your face, and you want to not see it, but unfortunately with social media, like, if someone does get ghosted and you just come across it like you did. But it's almost like back in the day when you were like in school, or early teens, late teens, and you would be seeing someone and then they would finish with you, that term, they finished with me. You'd be devastated. You would then go to a bar and you'd see them in a bar, they'd be talking to someone else. That fucking hurt. Like,
Oh,
that
yeah.
feeling is horrible, like in the pit of your stomach. Or like when you were in school and you fancied someone,
Yeah.
and then they
But I
would
think it's
fancy another
sometimes easy
person.
in real life because you can see it, and you also in that social environment where I was saying, like, obviously I understand I'm at home a lot now because of my leg. I don't have a lot of a social activity. Where when you were younger, you had girlfriends, lad friends, they were around you, and you go, oh my God, you see them over
Yeah,
there. And
support
you can probably have
network.
that little, you had that support, like, oh my God, you got nothing to worry about. Oh my God, it's so much better. Like, right, you're going to come talk,
Let's go
come and talk to,
dance.
let's come on, yeah,
Yeah,
go dance, go and talk to Jeff. Like, he's really nice. When you're sat
yeah,
in your living room at
yeah,
like 12 o'clock at night and you go, what the fuck?
yeah,
Boom.
yeah.
And I literally, like, Spud will confirm, like, we had a FaceTime, and a friend of ours, Jess, jumps on, and we're just like, and luckily I had that, and we were on the phone
Yeah,
for an hour and a half, like,
yeah,
before this, like, guy finished work, but it works nights. So, yeah, just to say, like, what the fuck, and analysing and
yeah,
investigating, and, like, okay, this, because that helps. But I
yeah,
think the modern day is so lonely, especially in your
yeah,
30s and 40s, if you are single, because you haven't got anyone to talk to straight away.
yeah. It's like not, it's not fully relatable to some of
No.
your friendship group, me included. And I
Yeah.
try and obviously be there and supportive, but I'm not in the space that you are. So it's really difficult sometimes, obviously, to be in there with you. And I can understand that loneliness. I can appreciate that you feel that way. And especially when you've got friends around you who married, kids, things like that. It's not always perfect. Absolutely not. I'm not going to sugarcoat this shit. It's not always perfect. But I can only imagine that just amplifies those feelings of loneliness when shit like this happens to you, and you're just like, I physically can't go out and see anyone. It's getting plastered all over social media. Like, I don't live with housemates that I could, knock on and just have like a cry with or whatever. I need to wait for the morning, and thank God Jess and Spud were able to jump on that FaceTime with you to
Yeah.
to give you that support immediately. And then obviously you've reached out then to your other friends and whatnot, me included, and then we've been able to give you that additional support. But I'm really glad that you had that straight away, because like I said, I can only understand it from what you're telling me, and it's heartbreaking. It is.
Yeah, because I
It
think when you're
is.
millennials, you're like, right, we're going out this Saturday, girls. Get
Yeah,
your best clothes on. And
yeah,
it's like, obviously, in my circumstances at the moment, not to like put the violins on, but say if it was like back in my fitness days, like if it happened and goes to, I mean, I never had anything like that where I've had it thrown in my face on social media, but you're just like, oh, I'll just go for a run. Or, do you know what I mean? I can clear
yeah,
my head, go for a
yeah,
walk. Can't fucking walk to the kitchen. Do you know what I mean?
yeah. No, you're
Like,
right. It's a whole other level
and
on
then your
top of
mind
what
just
you're already
starts
going. Yeah,
thinking naturally as a woman as well.
yeah.
So, right. Next.
Anyway, God, let's move on then,
Yeah.
because we've also got blind date stories, we've got catfishing, and
Yeah.
we are, wanting to get it all out in the ether today.
Well,
So
let's try
yeah,
and
let's
get it
move
out
on.
as quickly as we can, because I know obviously in Josh's episode, which was series 1 now, we mentioned about a
I
catfish
know.
situation, and
Yes.
Lindsay was going on at us, like one of our listeners, like, I want to know more about this catfish.
Yes.
So in a very quick one, yeah, I've had a few, and oh, they're annoying. So basically this one, again, gut instinct, ladies. Go with your gut. I nearly
And
said
men,
to
ladies and men.
and men, yes, and men. And I nearly said to this last lad, never trust a lady with a black cat because she'll be on to you. She did.
There he is. There
But I
he
can
is.
literally find out anything. But yeah, something with my gut, we matched, and I was like, something's not adding up. And it's more when they're like a little bit more sexual as well. Do you know what I mean? Like trying to make the conversation that way. So out of humour for myself,
for me, by the way.
yeah,
Someone
I was
doing that
like,
to me.
so I was like, I try and keep this conversation. Didn't actually give him anything back. I actually put my boundaries up. Like, if you're going to carry on talking to me like that, you ain't going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
So we carried on chatting just about normal stuff. Then he asked me for my Instagram. I was like, okay, maybe it's genuine. Added me on Instagram. Seemed quite genuine. He got like over 2,000 followers, which is quite a few followers on Instagram for like a private account. He got highlight reels on there, lots of photos, posting stories every day. General chit chat. I was like, still something's off here. So I investigated when was the account started, and it was like that year. I was like, quite a lot of photos for a year. Well, this is highlight reels, so I know to go into the highlight reels. Yes, they're posted on different like days, but they all started on the same day. Do you know what I mean? Like in the background, same day as the account. I was like, So I was like, what is it you do for a living again? I think I actually found out he's a catfish before I got him on Instagram. So you can reverse image photos sometimes. And if they're like a celebrity or a model or someone high up, it will come up in Google. So I already found out
How do
there's
you
some
do
kind of,
that? Well, you just copy and paste the picture.
yeah, into Google on the, so for anyone watching, so you got Google and then you got that little camera there. So you press the camera. It doesn't always work on faces. I will not show my pictures. Not that I've got anything rude, but yeah. And then you put it into there, and
then it will come up and say this person isn't.
Yeah, I think I've done it on myself, and it like comes up on my Instagram. Like, yeah. So if it's like public, you can see people's pictures. So I seen it, and it's like some model. I think he lives in the UK now, but wasn't originally from the UK. So I was like, okay, well, he's definitely not some financial advisor from bloody Macclesfield. So I was like, so what is it you do? And he's like, oh, I was like, oh, that's. And I kept it going, and I just got bored, and I was like, oh, it's really funny that because I thought you were a fitness model from whenever. Got blocked straight away, but like made sure I took pictures of his profiles, conversations and stuff beforehand, and I actually got in touch with this fitness model. He had like 70 something thousand followers, and he actually got back to me. He's like, oh god, yeah, this happens to me all the time. Like I've tried to get this account taken down. So I reported it. It got taken down for a few days and then it got put back up again. But then I also put him on Are We Dating the Same Guy, which I don't do lightly. It's one of those Are We Dating the Same Guy if people don't know, is where people will post people locally or who they've been out with who are supposed to have red flags. Some people do it maliciously, obviously if they're bitter. Some people would just put it on there. Is anyone speaking to him? Yeah, he's allowed to speak to different multiple women if you are just literally speaking to him. But there is people on there who have done like serious, you know, they've got Claire's laws against them and things like that. So yeah.
Yeah, good.
There we go. That's what it's there for. Yeah, so that's the site. Yeah. So I put him on that, and then all these girls like, oh yeah, he's a catfish. Like, and then other girls like, is he? I'm talking to him right now. And it's like, this girl's like, yeah, because he had like quite a lot of tattoos, and he sent a picture of him windmilling his doodah. And she's like, so I weighed up the tattoos from his Instagram to the picture, and they didn't obviously add up.
God, like investigators, you single girls. Yeah, honestly, like proper investigators.
Honestly, I'm bad like this. If anyone's listening now who's dating me, this is going to sound really bad. But I have been on the likes of Strava to make sure people say they live where they live and find them if they're not on social media. And I've also been on Company's House when people have told me they own a business just to make sure they're not lying. And people might think this is weird, but I think it's a safety environment because you get people like this catfishing. And like he was sending these pictures and videos to women not asking for them to try and get something back, and he's not even real. He was putting stories of him walking his toddler in a pram. Was there even a freaking toddler in it? I don't know. Pretending to be this man with his own toddler, putting his pictures on the story, and really living a double life. And then I matched with someone, wasn't it, not long ago, and I went on, are we dating the same guys? Again, got very sexual, so I was like, let's have a look. Put his name in, and it came up. Well, we thought he was Irish. He'd been on a video, whatever, FaceTime to me for like an hour, an Irish accent. Works out that he's not Irish at all. He puts that accent on, and literally is like, he's never lived in Ireland. He's originally from Hull. He's a massive manipulator, gambler, uses women. He's got like allegations going on about him at the time. People saying put Claire's on, and I mean thousands of comments, thousands. Well, maybe not thousands, but like and people were not just putting anonymous. They were literally like putting their names down. Like people were like, oh my god, I went on a date with him for like 4 hours and he kept that accent up. And girls were like, oh my, I went out with him for 5 months and he kept that accent up. So
what's wrong with people? Like what?
And I wouldn't find this out if it wasn't for social media and the internet.
It's got a really good purpose.
So it has, but a lot of these sites have been shut down now because I think in America a lot of them have put like lawsuits against them, where probably people have put them on. Like, I get it because there is a control over it with like admins, but how much do you know what is the truth that people are posting? Is it just someone's bitter about their ex and making it a whole complete lie?
Yeah. And that's the thing. That's where it can go wrong, can't it? And it's not fair on them innocent people. But the ones that need calling out, like, it's a great platform to do it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's that balance again of like making sure people aren't just getting outed for doing something that they've never done, you know, because that's reputationally really damaging.
Oh yeah, it can damage people's jobs and all sorts.
Yeah. Exactly. And then blind date then. Tell us about a blind date.
So I thought I'd try a blind date. And there was like an advertisement on Facebook. And I was like, got nothing better to do. I was obviously, this is, I don't know, it was sometime last year, I think it was. And I had my foot up on the sofa. I was like, I'll apply.
Okay, go for it. Why not?
Go for it. You have to ask, like, it's literally like Cilla Black. Like, the admins had control of it. You can't see who was applying, and it was just like this one lad, and he put all this information out. And yeah, I was like, sod it. Also, maybe for a little bit of an ego boost myself, like, will I get picked? If not, I'm not that bothered. Yeah. So yeah, I filled it all out, and originally, I didn't get picked, so I was like, okay, that's fine. And then like people were invested in it then. People wanted to know what happened on the day. Did they get together? And they've gone on this date and it didn't go too well. But he kind of wanted to put a face to the name, but not really put a face to the name because we only saw one picture. Like, not even on like social media. It's like after, like, it was like blurred. Like, that's the only thing I got. So it worked out. Apparently, I was second or whatever. Or he wanted to pick me first, but his mates decided against it because his usual type is apparently me, and obviously that's not been working. I was like, this is what you've been saying to all the girls. His mother wanted to pick me. I was like, I'm not that daft. Anyway, I thought, sod it, what have I got to lose? Let's go. So obviously I went for this blind date, and this one picture I see, I wouldn't say it was my usual type. I wouldn't really say I've got a usual type, but people say I have. What was that?
Look at your screensaver that you did through AI. That's your type. And basically the Viking.
I've never been with anyone who looks like that though.
It can still be a type.
Yeah.
It's a Viking basically.
Yeah, it is. I did actually change it.
AI generated Viking.
Yes, very much so. Things we do when we're bored. Hannah's literally caught blocking me. Anyway.
I'm manifesting your dream man, actually.
Yes, you are.
Thank you very much.
And you know what? I'm actually going to highlight something about cop blocking now, because I think it was last weekend in the gym. We'll come back to the dating story cliffhanger. A bloke comes up to me in the gym. He's like, you were getting talked about the other day. It's like, obviously, on a little bit of a downer about what's been happening in my dating life. I'm like, who by? Do I know them? Would I like them? Like,
spill the tea.
I'm not telling you it is. I'm not telling you it is. I'm like, what are they saying about me? I'm like, what do you think of her? You know what they think? And she got nice skin.
Oh, fucking hell. I mean, it's not a bad thing to say, but still,
It's
when
not.
you're
You know what? I have had
right.
that. I can remember even like Stephen Reese.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like she said it to me like many years ago. But I do get that. I actually get that off men. Like, don't you have nice skin? I'm like, "Say it's a
And like,
compliment."
again, it's not a bad thing to say, but you know,
No,
you made me think of something
I
more
know.
meaty and juicy than
But
that.
yeah, and they were like, "Oh, she's a lesbian now,
Why is
isn't
that
she?"
cock blocked, by the way?
I'm telling you now, because they
Oh,
went
sorry.
afterwards. Oh, shame though. She's a lesbian, isn't she?
I mean, they're not completely untrue.
He's like, no. She's been back on the lads for years. Like, I was like one prime relationship that I had for a matter of months, and I went into that gym and I cock blocked myself for the last fucking 6 years or so. Well, not about 4 years. I was like, still going. I'm just tagged with that brush, so no wonder I'm fucking single as well.
You need to put like those wanted signs up, but change it to like now into blokes.
Yeah,
Do you
well,
know
I've
what
got
I
my
mean? So they
gym bag.
know.
And I've got like patches on it, and I said to my mate, I'm just going to put "I am not a lesbian" on my gym bag. Talk to me, please.
He wasn't not telling the truth. And if for anyone that doesn't know, Lucy did have some dabbles with females.
Yes, I did.
But yes, back on the men. So anyone
Yeah,
that's listening,
yeah. So yes, I
right?
went on this blind date, and I seen this one picture, and I thought, give it a shot. You don't know. We spoke on the we spoke on the phone for like 5 hours. Like, go to Turkey. Like, we had something like, I wouldn't say connection, but we had a conversation. Obviously. So he's like, I'll come and pick you up from your house. You know what? Some people are like, oh, you can't tell me your address. And that postman knows, Amazon, everyone knows where I fucking live. Like, if they need to know, fuck it. I can't walk. Pick it up. So, fine. I always tell people. I've got a friend in the police. I always tell her. Anyway, so...
And you actually have, so this is not just a lie.
No, it's not. Yeah.
So we get any weirdos,
Yeah.
the police, and she tells them everything.
This is the mugshot, this is the number, and this is where we're going. If you don't hear in 2 hours, come out. Literally.
Blink twice if you need to. FaceTime. That's like on first dates, though, isn't it? When they go into the toilets and they call their mate and they're just like, nah, this isn't working. Like, what do I do?
I know. So I walked to the bottom of my drive, not far, and I see this car called pal around, and obviously on the photo I saw dark hair. I just see this grey. I'm hoping silver fox. Then he pulls up. And I'm really sounding like really bad now, but like his stomach was like touching the steering wheel. Do you know, like,
if you don't find that attractive, you don't find it attractive. No. Some people do, but you know what you find attractive, and when you saw that isn't what you normally go for, right? No. So yeah, so I was like,
I've got to get in the car. I'm people like, I can't just walk away. I can't even fucking run away, like, if I wanted to. So I was like, okay, get in the car. And then that car kind of has that kind of, it had a smell. And automatically I just didn't want to be there. So automatically my conversation levels go off.
Yeah. Get in, get out as quick as you can, literally.
Get in, so literally it was get in, get out. And then I wasn't interested in anything he was saying. Like, he just looked different. Like, I think we were about similar age, but my mum was like, you're too particular. No, I was like, Mum, if you've seen us together, you think I was for his money. Like, give yourself a little bit of dignity. And even on the date, he was like, oh, a few other girls have got in touch. I'm like, oh, really? I was like, you're not...
Go for that.
Yeah, but you're not... Oh, it's not really my time. I'm thinking, you can't be fucking fuzzy.
Hey, play nice, please.
I know. Well, you mean like... But, yes. But I was like, she obviously likes you. Like, go and see. But yeah, it's like, so we had a meal, and it was lovely. He like paid for the meal, which he didn't have to, and he's like, "Do you want a dessert? No. Do you want a drink? No." And like, what are you doing this afternoon? He's like, "Oh, I've got nothing planned." I was like, I need to go. And I think this is when we were first starting the podcast as well. So I was like, I was really into it. Yeah. And then he was giving me like advice about the podcast, and I was like, oh, you need to get this website and all this. I was like, don't tell me what to do, because by now I'm like, yeah.
We know what we're doing. Leave us alone.
Yeah, I don't need a website. I need a freaking recorder. And like, and then, that was that. So that's why they're called blind dates, because you need to be blind.
No, I'm going to stop you. And I think this is a really good point to make, that obviously you were
So
very
I just got a very
judgmental
dark,
about.
whatever humour.
Yes.
I don't mean to offend. I just like to make people laugh.
Definitely what you meant. Anywho, what I would say is that you were obviously very judgmental in that situation because of what he looked like, and it wasn't what you were expecting. Even though you had a lovely phone call
But
and
I
the
give it a
connection was
go.
there, I mean, you gave it a semi go. You said that you couldn't give a shit as soon as you got in the car. So what I will say, for all the times that it hasn't worked out, you've also been that other person, because that man could have driven away thinking like, oh, that was quite nice. I hope we get together
But
again or meet
I
again.
did learn something from that one, because that's the first time ever on a date that in the car I was like, that was really nice, thank you. But I don't want to see you again. Like, but I think I said it nicer than that.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't feel like there's that romantic chemistry. It was really nice, thank you. And I said it face to face, and that's the first time. I've never ever been a dick like after a date and ghosted. I've always like maybe left it and then like text later on. Do you know what I mean? And said, don't think there's really a romantic connection. Don't like sat on it, and sometimes you have to sit on it because you don't really know. I think people do give up quite easily, but I think you kind of know, and that's hard on dating apps because you see 4, 6, well, hopefully 6 photos, a little bit of a bio, and we all put our best versions online, don't you? Yeah. And until, like you say, you meet somebody and you see even their body language is attractive, the way they talk. You don't always. I like to do a video call or like a conversation at least before I speak. Obviously that was a blind date, so we couldn't do it, but like I always try and video call because you don't know who you're meeting, and that's more from a safety point of view as well.
Yeah, definitely.
That I make sure that that person is the person that they're saying they are.
Yeah.
So I don't get mauled into the back of a van trafficked around Europe.
You know, it's like Jess's blooming story.
I know, yeah.
Stripper. Honestly, go back and listen to that one if you're interested in that kind of stuff. But no, I think that I think it's good what you did, and you told him, and you were straight. And I think you've never been a dick to people. But I just wanted to point out that from people are picky. They've got a particular type, or they don't think it's going to go somewhere. And rightly so. If that's what you thought and that's what you did think, you went, you committed, and then you said straight away, not bothered, and he can move on. And that's the way to do it, really, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Rather than obviously lead people on. But that was obviously very aesthetically not what you were expecting. But again, like you said,
you need attraction.
You do.
I agree. Need attraction.
I agree.
Like my old next door neighbour, and she is having a baby with her now person who she met off Bumble. And they've got a new house.
Bumble baby.
Bumble baby. Like you kind of got to feel like you want to rip their clothes off. And I know it can be a slow burner. Yeah. I've been in those relationships where you've met people and, you...
Friends first.
Yeah, like, God, like you say, my first female relationship, I didn't even know I was into females. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was definitely like, what's going on here?
Yeah. But I think you also, as well, like in the situation with the blind date, like you also do know, and you just knew you didn't, want to explore that. And you've got to be true to yourself as well. And you don't want to waste your time, and you just knew that wasn't something you wanted to explore.
Yeah. But that's it with modern day dating. Maybe people do just give up because they're like, well, that didn't get the spark that I hit. And I think the spark they say is not actually, even though the spark's subject on this podcast, like it's something that's built. They say a lot of it is anxiety, the spark, when you first feel it, and that's that whole pull and push back is when they start pulling back. It's anxiety, and people think it's like attachment and it's the spark and when actually it isn't. It's actually not very good for you.
To be honest, the actual physiological reaction is that like heart, it's everything that anxiety is linked to. But because you're facing someone that you find attractive, or you're on a date, or you're like potentially could go somewhere with this, or you just want to have a bit of fun, you probably do ignore that and think this is what it should feel like. But those butterflies are real, and I think you've just, that combination, I agree, now you said that, it probably is a lot of that feeling. But back then I certainly didn't know that was anxiety. Do you know what I mean? And I say that with my...
I have listened to a lot of audiobooks trying to understand myself. Why am I still single?
But no, that is interesting, and I did that with inverted commas because I would never have connected the dots back then because I didn't know what that was when I was younger. but I do remember the feeling, and it is immense, you know, and the
Yeah.
fact that like you experience that quite regularly obviously is one of those things that, you know, that is a pro of dating. But I think that what we don't realize, I mean, or we do realize, there are so many people navigating modern day dating, and it's exhausting. Like, I'm
Oh yeah.
exhausted from this conversation, only because like only because like I mean, again, it's all relative, right? But I do feel incredibly lucky and grateful that I've got what I've got, and I don't mean that in a way of being like, look what I've got, you haven't got it, because I know that you're going to get
Yeah.
it. I know that you're going to find your
But it can
person.
work so many ways, isn't it, as well? Like, I know you and Rob are very happy, but there can be so many people who are staying in marriages and
Yeah,
like situations, not situationships. Well, there probably are, actually. It's just a cute name
yeah.
for confusion. But, like, I always compare it to like Robbie Williams and Gary Barlow, like years ago. Like, Gary Barlow really wanted Robbie Williams' solo career and whatever, and Robbie just really wanted that family connection and
That
people
stability,
around
yeah.
him. And like, it's
Yeah.
the grass
The
isn't
grass
always
isn't always
greener,
greener.
you
What, we
know.
just said that exactly at the same
Yeah,
time. Oh my God, literally. And I think that's, again, really important, because there's elements of all of this right now where you think, oh, you know, that would be this, or that would be great, or that would be, that's a bit
yeah.
shit, or
Do you
whatever.
think people think
But
it's easy because obviously, like nowadays as well, you got Amazon and everything's like next day. No one really puts that effort in. It's like, oh, well, that's a bit hard. Oh, I don't know how. I don't like how they brought up this situation or how they handled that. Instead of talking about it, they're just like, gone next.
yeah, and do you know what though? Like, what I will say is, to sustain a long-term
Mm,
relationship is fucking hard.
mm.
Like, it is hard work. So yeah, people might be scared of that because they just, it's a
Just want a
lot
perfect
to.
life. Like, and I think again, we were all brought up on Disney films and everything's so perfect and
Hmm.
pretty. And once you get married, it's the best. Like, it's like the hardest times. Like, I know you
Yeah.
just got married, which is probably not the best thing to say, but you know what I mean. It's like, I know you've been together 15 years, but people see it as like Hollywood films, like, you
Yeah.
know, like rom-coms. It's the same as like a Disney film. Like, oh, they meet in Tesco. Well, not in Tesco, but you know what I mean. They get they're reaching for the same pint of milk, and you know the
Yeah.
hardest part is the meeting and the dating, and then they get together and happily ever after. No, that's where the shit goes
No,
down.
it's not. The hard work, like
Yeah,
the hard work starts then, because you've got to sustain
yeah.
like the relationship that you know that you
So do you
met. You've
think
got
it's
to,
like an addiction as well? Like, done. I
what?
want the butterflies back. Done. Like, this
Yeah,
is too hard work
100%.
now. Like, again, it's like, I feel like,
100%.
yeah, it's like an addiction. Like, I want that back again. So now I'm going to move on to the next
Well,
person.
yeah, like when you get a hit, like
Mm,
literally, like how often do we have a drink? The next
mm,
day you feel horrendous. You swear that it's not worth it, not going to bother anymore. When I was pregnant, I was like, I genuinely thought I was going to go teetotal, because I did obviously 9 months not drinking, and it was absolutely fine. I
yeah.
sent to Rob, and obviously then I breastfed. I was like, I'm going to go teetotal. I don't need to have a drink. But literally a couple of months in, maybe like 3, 4 months in, we went for like a wine or two. Oh, fuck me, best thing ever. That glass of wine, honestly, was incredible. And then I never looked back. But it's you know, then you start do it again, because you remember how fun it is to go and
Mm,
have that drink and get on the vodkas, and you go to like a party, and then you start to get that hit again. So you do it all again. It
mm,
must be that way with dating as well, because like you said, you start with the butterflies, you get the dopamine hits, you're excited, you're getting to know someone, you meet them, this is all exciting. And then when it kind of starts to get a bit real, you're like, yeah, bored now. So then the opposite side of that, to sustain a long-term relationship, it's fucking hard. But
mm,
the reward is so great. Do you know what I
mm.
mean? Like, you know, sat knowing I've got a safe space, I'm in my comfort zone, you know, no matter how many ups and downs we have, like, we're making it through. That's, you know, we'll continue to try our hardest to make it through, put all
Yeah.
the effort in, even on the days where it's hard, you know. So in the modern day dating world, when you want to find that, which I know you do, that, I just imagine like getting those knockbacks, which is nothing to do with you, by the way. You're amazing, you're beautiful, you've got the best personality. Like, you know, anyone would be lucky to have you in their life, and that's why I believe you will find your person. You know, it just must be so hard. But I don't want you ever to feel like it's on you, you know, when these things are happening, it's not because of you. It just, it's them. And I know it's always like, oh, it's not me, it's them, and vice versa. But yeah, don't let it knock your confidence, and just keep putting those boundaries in place.
I think I am quite,
yeah,
whatever person. It's like when I had that situation, obviously when it was brassed on Instagram, and I said to him, it's like, I'm second best, aren't I? He's like, no, you're not second best. I was like, right, okay, but let's do this. I was like, you got a chocolate cake and then you got a strawberry cheesecake. You're out having a meal and then you got a trifle or something like that. You know, when you look at that menu, I want the chocolate cake. Waitress comes over. Sorry, we ran out of chocolate cake. So you go for strawberry cheesecake instead. That's your fucking second choice. Do you know what I mean? Because that's not available right now.
That is speaking to my soul, that cakes and
really?
Desserts, like,
that came off the top of my head when I was on that phone call.
Done.
And he was like, well, maybe I like strawberry as well. I was like, exactly, that's the problem.
Literally, you can't, what is it? You can have your cake and
eat it. Literally. Yeah. Oh my God. You know what? If the person that actually invented that actually came up, sorry if I stole it, but I thought it was mine. But yeah, that is literally, yeah.
You thought that was your saying?
No, not the cake and eat it, the whole chocolate cake and strawberry cake. That just literally came out when I was having that.
Great analogy, You.
Yeah. So anyone needs that in the future, feel free. I will put a copyright on it. Yeah.
Although
I'll make a book.
You could then refer back to, you know, if you get a trio of desserts on one plate, then technically you have a foursome.
A buffet.
A buffet. Right.
I've fucking had enough of the buffet.
I know.
I heard Ryland say it on something. It's like, what if you finished the buffet?
Twice over.
What if you're just done?
Well, we are nearly done with this episode. But before we go, we are going to do a quick modern day dating quick fire round. So we're going to do this, and then we are going to let you go off, get some beauty sleep, and get ready to attack the modern day dating world again from tomorrow.
Yeah, there's so much we can probably even cover even more, but we'll have to do a second episode. I'm sure there's definitely going to be. Hopefully, I will meet the man. Yes.
Let's get stories. We'll put some information in the bio.
Because we've got the whole black cat and golden retriever, masculine and feminine.
Yeah.
Feminine.
Femininity.
It goes so deep.
But yes.
Right.
We can.
This is
not
where
right
I've
now.
got to answer.
Let's get on with quick fire.
Yes.
Right, so I'm going to ask you a few quick fire questions that I've prepared. And you just need to be quick, as we know. And
never
let's
happens.
Yeah.
You ask, I answer. You ask, you answer. Right, we'll try to do it as quickly as we can. Right, go.
Go. What is your biggest ick on a profile?
Animal pictures.
Okay. What is obvious on someone's profile or their bio that it's basically a hookup for sexual activity? Sorry.
When anyone casual, should have learned, and they literally will write that, like, just casual. It's like an option on some of them. And no bio. Some people don't even write prompts. They'll put ... Sorry, gone. And I want to explain my animal thing before anyone's judging me because I've got a cat. It's when you have 6 photos, right? You have 6 photos. Put a picture of you and your animal, not just your animal. Like, that could be anyone's dog or cat. I don't need to see that you're an animal person by putting that on. You need to show your best self. That's why.
Yeah. So. And also, like, 6 pictures, like one of those of an animal would I'd be attracted to. Because I'd be like, I love animals, they love animals.
Yeah. And that's why they do it. Because I spoke to a lad at work. He's like, yeah, but girls love it. I was like, some girls do. It irritates me. But it's like, yeah, because they love animals. It's like, but I don't want to go out with your animal. Like,
that's very true. And also, like, I don't want a disingenuous profile. If you don't love animals, don't fucking put a picture of an animal up. Do you know what I mean?
The Irish guy had pictures of his cats, and I fell for that. Well, I was like, you know what? Maybe I was like, I'm getting some pickings here. Maybe I'll give it a go. Red flag. He was trying to bring me in with his cats. He knew.
He was. So, well, talking of profile pictures, best and worst profile pictures. And we know worst, animals. What's the best?
I think it's hard because not a lot of people get headshots. You'll see, I think men are awful at taking pictures anyway. Girls are obviously more for taking pictures. I mean, I think I'm pretty useless on a night out. I mean, did we have a picture together the other night when we went out? No, we didn't.
Oh, we did.
Oh yeah, we did.
One at the arena. We had a couple of selfies when you fell off the chair.
Oh God. Oh yeah, we did. We had a couple. But we're not very poser girls, are we? It's not like
No.
stand next to whatever.
But I do love pictures though. I take loads of
Yeah.
pictures because I just
So,
love
but girls are
memories.
more known. Well, you get the men who take them under their chin. I think they're like the older ones, or they're blurry, or they're old, or group shots,
Yeah.
sunglasses. Hat fishing is a thing. So they're wearing hats on all the ones, so you don't know what their hair's like, or if they've got any
People
hair.
do look good in hats as well, don't
Yeah,
they?
yeah.
Yeah,
And
you're
like
right.
sunglasses, you can't see their eyes, and there'll be one picture, and you're like, "That's why you're wearing sunglasses." It's weird.
To be fair, again, people look fit in sunglasses, don't they? So if you can't
Yeah,
see what they look like, and it changes the whole person's face. Do you know what I mean? If they've
yeah.
got sunglasses on, hat, yeah, okay, cool. Right, instant turn off in a bio.
Just I don't know. I say again. I think people like if it's like sexual or no, when they're so negative, it's like what they don't want
Oh
instead of
yeah,
what they want. So it's like I'm done with this and I'm done with that. Or like I don't want any like. I mean, I'm not that person. A girl goes out every weekend that they're listing things that they don't want
yeah.
instead of what they want, and I'm like, you're traumatized. You need therapy. That's what you need first.
Yeah, yeah, and it's okay. I think those kind of conversations need to happen when you start chatting to someone, right?
Yeah.
Not like in the bio, because obviously, surely you'd focus on what you do want, and then
But
if
you'll
someone doesn't
word it
match
probably a
that,
bit different. Like,
yeah,
I like at the weekends to go hike. Oh, that's a typical one. Hiking and Sunday lunch on a
right.
Sunday. But do you know what I mean? Like, but you can
That would
say
draw me
what
in. To be
you.
fair, I like a walk at a lunch.
Honestly, it's on everyone's. It's like a proper like it's universal. Like people in New Zealand, Australia, America, UK, everyone's using it. Even in Spain, like literally, it's yeah.
It's a good
Um,
thing to do on a Sunday.
Well, yeah, but everyone's doing it. Everyone's and you see like things like on Instagram, like where's everyone on their hikes and Sunday walks, and they're like literally on the top of the mountain. Like everyone's supposed to be up here.
Well, I'm
Um,
saying like hiking. I mean like a walk. I'm not fucking
mm,
climbing mountains. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
but do you know what I mean? Like put what you're interested in doing, so you'll match the perfect partner.
Mm.
Hopefully, not what you
Don't do
don't
what you
like
think
doing.
society wants you to do. Like,
Yeah, like
don't
if
be
you're
like a
really
stat.
like a high rocks wanker like I used to be, put it on because the person who's
Yeah.
interested in high rocks will be interested in that. She says wearing the old top as we speak.
Well,
But like if you're into
it's
going to a
literally
zoo every weekend,
yeah.
go to a zoo. Just don't put what you don't like doing because it doesn't say anything about you.
Yeah, it's like a job profile. People obviously
Yeah.
like over egg themselves on a job profile or job application, and it's only when you get to interview that you can obviously understand what that person's like. And I think that's the thing. Like some people are fantastic in interviews, and then you get them in the role, and they're fucking dog shit. Other people are awful at interviews, but if you hire them, they're going to be the best fit. So it's
Yeah.
very similar, I think, isn't it? Right. Give me 3 red flags.
Again, it's got to be no bio or no prompts like going on. If it's dot dot dot, ugh. Red over flags. Oh, when they're like posing, like it's really hard because it's nice to see a body probably, so you know what to expect. But it's like when it's all like in the mirror, and you just
Yeah,
know they're
yeah,
a bit egotistical or
yeah,
they're like, yeah, like yeah. I'd rather a smiley picture. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? Or something
yeah,
fun or out go festival or something like that.
yeah.
And another one, I think we've probably covered, like say, yeah, no bio, just like shit animal, like don't put an animal picture. That's Nick.
That's a red flag, is it? Is there
That's
nothing like a red flag in terms of what you've said about the people talking negatively about what they don't want? That's a red flag
yeah,
as well, isn't it?
yeah, that's a red flag. I feel like we've
Yeah.
covered most of them.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
go
how
quick
about
fire.
3 3 green flags?
I like to see. I do like. I think it's nice to. I know it's hard because people say like shots, and they don't. You don't want people's children really in them. They can blank them out. But like if they're with their friends, you can see their personality a little bit more, or like or they say like they're family orientated. That's a big one for me because I feel like yes, you can't choose your family, but it's still you can choose your friends, and it shows that you're social, and obviously you're caring about someone. They care about you because I've been in
Yeah.
relationships before where it's like I felt sorry for them, the victim, where actually, oh, maybe you're the problem and that's why you've got no friends. You know what I mean? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that sticks out for me as a lesson. So green flags. And then just basically saying, I like it when they're quite, not vulnerable, but yes, I want a long-term relationship. I'm
Yeah.
looking for something serious. Like
Yeah.
quite up and open about what they want.
Yeah.
in a nice way. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So it makes you feel secure what you're going
Yeah.
into.
Yeah. And I think that, again, like you said, you know, if you want to match with the right people, you need to go with what you're looking for. But sometimes it's nice to take a curveball, but obviously they don't always work out.
Mm.
But yeah, okay, cool. And then for anyone that would want to date you, give us your best and worst places to take you.
Well, obviously the circumstances aren't great as Hamish eats my earphones. Come off! I'm literally getting dragged down. I'm quite easy. I would love, depending on the weather, like just a little picnic, some picky bits. You know what I mean? So you can chat.
Yeah,
I like you need to chat on a date. You don't want to be going
yeah,
places like the cinema. I can't do anything active at the moment. Someone
yeah.
taught me years ago, and I'm talking years ago, like years ago. I don't know if anyone's this, very years ago. Skating, and I'm not an ice
Skating,
skate.
skiing, do you
Skating, like
mean?
ice
Skating.
skating,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and like people think that's probably really nice and romantic. And I remember seeing the sign for Altrincham and thinking, I fuck it. I just don't. You can only go round so many times in a
See,
circle, and
that's
like yeah, and I got bored, and I was like, especially if you don't know there's any chemistry. So for me, I was like, do you want to race? I think they
see,
were like imagining like hand in hand, and I'm like, do you want to race?
I'll be see
What do you want to do? Like,
when I used to date, I one of my favorite dates was surfing. Obviously
oh, get
down
you
where
down
obviously I'm from in
Cornwall,
Cornwall. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. So and I love any kind of activity. Like I
yeah. But a
loved
lot
when
of
I
it
was
now,
dating.
they say just meet up for a coffee because then it's
Yeah,
easy to just have a chat, see if you like each other, and then start again. Like you don't have
yeah,
to have all these extravagant. Like some people don't even like eating in front of people, and I mean I'm not bothered about that. But like
yeah. No,
you
meals
don't
aren't for
just
me.
no. But I say a walk, but first dates, and then you can obviously take it higher. But I think you just need somewhere you need a conversation. I'm not. I mean, I love to be wined and dined. Obviously, no one's going to say that, but it doesn't need all that great effort.
No, just need something casual, doesn't it? And like you
Yeah.
said, appreciate your situation with activities.
Mm.
It isn't what you can do right now, but
No.
yeah, like you said, picnic and a coffee or whatever. But yeah, activities I think also do allow that level of like playfulness. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
they do. Like I've been
um,
on like mini golf dates before,
yeah,
like do you know what I
yeah,
mean? And stuff like that. So yeah, it's
yeah,
nice to do something a little bit competitive. And I think
yeah,
it breaks that
definitely.
eye. Some people aren't very good at sitting in eye contact, are they? Do you know what I mean? It's like it feels pressured, so the
Yeah.
conversation probably comes across more
Yeah,
natural.
that's why meals have never been for me. Like, obviously they are now, but like like as first dates, because I just think like for me, I'm very much like I have to feel like any awkward silence, and I like even if it's a millisecond, I'm obviously
See, I'm
that's
quite
everyone
good
else
at that.
talking.
I'm quite good at like
Yeah,
see,
I
yeah,
can't do that.
because
No,
I think you allow people to talk then, because like they will
yeah.
carry on
Well,
by
to
because
be
you're
fair,
stopping and like they're like,
yeah,
oh, she's waiting for me.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, but yeah, I found
We've
I
had to get better at that though at the pod, haven't we? Because obviously we want to allow our guests to like
mm,
reflect. So, but in normal
yeah.
day to day, like yeah, I'm just like always like trying to fill those gaps. So for me, eating, I'll be like, oh, like trying to speak and eat at the same time. And then like anytime like that person was eating, I just feel awkward. So yeah.
Mm.
Anywho, worst date, ice skating.
Ooh, yeah, or maybe the blind date we spoke about before as well.
No, but where would
Oh
be a
no,
bad
no, no, no,
place
no, no,
to
no,
take
no,
you?
no. Right, I went on a date. Oh, this is a story. Sorry, guys, you got to stay on a bit longer. This is when Dan McManara was living with me,
Full
and
name, you're full naming
I
him.
thought I always do. And I went on this date, and literally, there was this girl, and again, I got kitten fished. She got off the train. We decided to go for a picnic.
Oh,
It was like COVID-ish times, when you have to be
yeah.
outside. And so we decided to go for a picnic, and we took some booze and we took some food. And I didn't fancy her, so she got off the train. Like, again, it feels like I'm shaming. But all the pictures must have been taken from this angle.
Yeah.
And like, she was a lot taller and bigger than she was. I was like, you know what, we'll just have a good time. We'll get on well. And yeah, she went for this picnic and we were having a drink. And it's like she went from sober, like normal conversation to absolutely paralytic insect. Like we were next to a brook, like a river, and she was in there swimming, fully clothed, and it's like muddy, and I just sobered up straight away.
Yeah.
Like, and then the conversation got really weird. So I was like, I got to get. And mine, she's bigger than me, so I had to try and carry her down the canal. And I'm going down the canal with her, and people obviously on their dog walks, and she's like all over the place. Like I'm nearly like trying to like not fall in the canal. My phone's dying on my battery. I'm trying to call Dan, like, you need to save me. Like, come and get the car now. Come and drive. I'm not bringing. I want to do a Scouse. I'm not. I'm not like, yeah, why have I lost my Scouse accent? Yeah, I'm not fucking bringing my car. I'm fucking bringing yours. Not getting mine dirty or whatever. Yeah, and then she's like, you're putting bin bags down. Yeah, I'm putting bin bags down. Like, just get in my car. And then, but she's all over the place. People asking me, she's okay. Am I okay? No, I'm not okay. Like, and then I'm like, can I get her on the train? She came from Blackpool and never dated anyone from Blackpool since. Literally. And I'm like, but what if I turn on the telly tomorrow and put Granada Reports on and she's died?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, I'll have to kind of like bring her back. So, like, obviously Dan's loving this then. Like, I leave him in the living room with her. And I think I went to speak to my mum on the phone or something like that. And I was just like,
oh my God.
She starts telling him that she can see like spirits and like dead and like how he's had a traumatic life. And obviously Dan's then palming all this stuff on her to like get even more, and then obviously naturally she's trying to like sober up, give her like fresh clothes and all this kind of stuff. Then she stays over, or we kicked her out literally like 6 o'clock in the morning, like, get out. And then the worst part of it was COVID, so you're like groups of 6 or something like that. We went round our neighbours for a party, and Dan changed his name in my phone on WhatsApp to her name and her picture, and then was declaring for her undying love for me and how she had such a great time and all this stuff, and put me on literally like, I'm going to say whitey, but obviously I wasn't on drugs, but probably my face just went a bit like the whole like I Tame the Animal situation.
Yeah.
Like when that lad, I had a lad.
We need to talk about that in episode 2.
Yeah, the lad got a tattoo of I Tame the Animal, for anyone who doesn't know. No.
And I literally said that too, and when we found out, and he came in, and I was like, looked at your face, I was like, what the fuck is this? Anyway, we can divulge into that at a different time because it's much more of a story than that. What a horrific day! Oh my God.
Yeah.
So don't go to the canal. Don't go ice skating.
Don't go. Yeah.
Okay, they're your worst place. This is going to be quick fire, by the way.
I know. I tried at the start. We both divulged. Right. Is that the
last question? Overall, then, what would you say is the best app for success?
Not really had any. I'm going to say Hinge because.
Okay.
Yeah, Hinge. I'm on Hinge. Sometimes go.
For anyone that wants to know, she's on Hinge.
I'm on Hinge and I'm on Bumble. I get mixed with Bumble. I think a lot of lads, because it's supposed to be the girl talks first, but then they have prompts now which they can talk to. But lads get in their ego. Biting ego, like, oh, the girl needs to talk first. It's like, yeah, but you don't reply and it only gives you 24 hours. So it's a lot of admin on the girl's side to like think of things. Like, I think like I deleted a few people like this last week who will match with me on Hinge. Like, because if you like someone, it will send them a like on Hinge. You don't match as in like Bumble and Tinder. So if I liked you, it will send you Lucy likes Hannah, or you know what I mean, Rob likes Hannah. So you choose then if you like them. So I think, out of respect, you should send that first message if you're accepting that like. Say, hi, how are you? Like, I've just got your like. Like, you know what I mean? Or like start that conversation. If they cannot be bothered to do that, sometimes I'm like, oh, not much of a talker then. Depends on what kind of mood I'm in. But do you know what I mean? I'm just like, no, go. Like, I've had my energy wasted. If you can't start a conversation. Yeah. No, like, it's not all down to the girl to keep, especially masculine and feminine. Like, you should make a bit of an effort. I'm all for, I will talk, obviously, if I match. And I'll do it on Bumble and start the conversation, but it's not all on me.
Yeah. Well, on that note, I think we have covered so much.
And we could go so long.
Yes,
But yeah,
yes.
if this sounds very unedited, it's because I've just thrown it out and not edited
Yeah.
it.
We're just not going to edit. Fuck it. It's literally as unpolished as it can actually be. But a true, honest conversation. And we were saying earlier when we said we were going to
Yeah.
do this because of not having our guest on, we were like, look, for people that are in this world, it's going to be really relatable. And for people that are not, like myself, we've got two ends of the spectrum here. So I'm interested, like I'm
Yeah.
learning and I want to know about what's going on because it's a scary world out there. So we just thought, fuck it, let's throw it together
And I think
tonight.
a
And this
lot
is
of
literally what
people
happens.
will relate. And like I say, everyone would rather be single and clear on my side than confused and chosen second being the
Yeah,
strawberry cheesecake.
yeah.
And it's not, if
I
you want to be a
mean,
strawberry cheesecake, you can be a strawberry cheesecake to make sure the strawberry cheesecake comes first.
exactly. And on that note, this has been a very different episode. We've
Yeah.
enjoyed it. We hope you have. Go back and check all our other episodes out with an amazing array of guests. And we will be back with another one of our fantastic guests in the near future. So thank you so much for listening and watching. And it's a bye from me.
And a bye from me. Don't forget to bring your stories in. Bye.
See ya.